Yo, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to episode 16 of Sir Brant and the Ball. And we don't really know what the ball he's talking to, or referring to is, but, you know.
The Times Square one.
Maybe. No, dude, did you see the last one? The last,
No.
New Year's Times Square ball?
I heard it was bad.
It was really bad. It was like, there was no fireworks or anything, if I remember correctly. Or, it was, if there was, it was, one, yeah, and that was it.
They just turned on the light when it hit the bottom, and that's it. And
pretty much. Right. It was very disappointing, if I remember correctly. It's I know COVID is a thing, and it's kind of hard to organize this stuff, but you gotta start the new year with a bang. Jeez Louise.
Started the new year with a light switch.
Yeah, right? Everyone was like, yay, 2021, light switch.
All right. A Jack's Films joke.
Ah, that's funny. That's funny. I get your references. You sneaky man. Anyways, let us continue. Brent?
All right.
Yeah.
What happens next seems unbelievable. The enigmatic lady walks towards you. The way she looks at you, the way she walks, the black eyes from behind the mask watch you closely. She tilts her head. There's no words, but you feel there is a question. Everyone in the hall is startled by a sudden noise. You look behind you and see... I immediately thought of that. Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is right behind you.
Oh.
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Quiet. You see Tomas getting up off the floor, his face a grimace of rage. Dorius Auden stands before him, eyeing him with disgust. His arm rests on the hilt of his sword.
I don't know who this is, but Brent, take this one.
Sure. Who allowed this clumsy commodore inside the great chancellor's palace? Its noble masters are trying to dance, and you're getting underfoot. Tomas looks like he's about to explode in Atan's face, but the smug Arcanian sword is a clear threat. If your friend's rage gets the better of him, he will end up in trouble. The enigmatic Arcanian beauty, however, quickly loses all interest in their quarrel. She comes even closer to you, expecting you to invite her to dance.
Oh, dude, I feel like this is a classic, do we dance with the girl, or do we go help our bro out?
Is it bros before hoes, or just...
I don't know if you can use that term anymore. That's why I kind of said it my way. You can never be too careful, man. Alright, so we got three choices. We can resolve the quarrel. You approach Auton and apologize courteously for Tomas's gaffe. That's an interesting word.
Ooh, we get manipulation, though.
Yeah, that's true. We get manipulation +1. It's now 7, so that's not bad. And we get Dorius Auton +1, which right now he's a -1 because I don't know, he hates us for some reason. Yeah. We could draw Auton's ire upon yourself. You help Tomas to his feet and hurl some well-chosen words of mockery in Auton's face. Our eloquence will go up by 1. Our willpower will go down by 5, which it's now 0, so I don't think we can do anything after this. Regarding willpower if we take this option. Dorius Auton will go down by 1 again, but Tomas Gero will go up by 1. So, that's not bad. Or we just screw them both and say, hey, let's dance with the lady. Why not? You seize the day and dance with the beguiling Arcanian lady. Surely Tomas can take care of himself. We do get 10 willpower for this, but it is one of those ones that, if we hadn't unlocked one of these ones, we would have had to do this. Is the thing. So anytime I see these unlocked, I'm like, oh, we should go with one of these because this would be the most. Yeah, I don't know.
Hover over the diplomacy would need to be above 10 for that one. Willpower.
Well, diplomacy has to be equal to 10.
Or greater.
Yeah, so that's why we can do this one.
Yeah.
So
which I say do that for the fact that it doesn't affect Tomas Guerrero, whatever the name.
Tomas.
And Tomas, yeah. Guerrero.
Guerrero.
And the fact that see, it doesn't affect positive or negative really. And
yeah. The conditions for this one are a lot easier than the top one as well. This one you actually have to have diplomacy at 10. This one you just have to have more than 0 willpower.
And I think having better manipulation would be better.
I agree with that 100%. And especially because, like, if we're actually trying to go the nobleman route, it probably isn't a good idea to
not know how to talk to people.
well, that, and as well, like, it's more like, let's not be a dick to the, like, head nobleman guy, or else we're never getting anywhere in life. So I mean, I'm down for this option. Resolve the quarrel. Like, yes, we apologize for Tomas, and Tomas might have some words saying like, "Oh, well, I could have got in there," but like, I think at the end of the day, probably resolving the quarrel is the better option. What about you? What do you think?
I agree.
Agree? All right, we're doing it.
Yep.
We're going to resolve the quarrel. Enoch's going to be so proud of us. He's going to be like, whoa, they actually were at 10 diplomacy for an option? Whoa, holy crap, they did something that isn't normal? Oh my god. This one's for you, Enoch. You stand between Tomas and Auton before they can clash. The Archnean eyes you with scorn. You shower him with a... Oh god, I thought it said furry. You shower him with a furry... Oh, jeez. Of apologies for your friend. Tomas has never been to this kind of party before and still has a lot to learn when it comes to etiquette. And besides, he is clearly flummoxed from witnessing an Archnean up close. Auton smirks just barely enough to notice.
Well said. Sometimes I forget you humans are barely smarter than beasts. Take pride in the fact that you were permitted to attend this party. You'll have stories to tell and all that. Very well, away with you, and try not to get in my way. Why, I recognize your face, now that I think of it. You hail from Anazot. I must have seen you on the street somewhere. There is just too many of your kind about, but you're rather sharp, and you've been taught how to behave. That's a welcome sight.
You back away from the Archnean in a most gallant way, clutching your friend by the arm. I feel like we're, like, grabbing him by the arm, but our pinkies are out, because that's a fancy, gallant way to... Yeah.
That's what... Elegance? That's how you show your elegance?
Yeah, that's like, if you ever have tea with the queen, then yes, pinkies out, Brent. Pinkies out. There is a mixture of rage and bewilderment on Tomas's face. Once you are far away enough, he swears under his breath and heads for the refreshments. You follow him and watch him down 2 glasses of sparkling wine like a parched man guzzling water.
They know how to make sparkling wine?
I thought you were going to say they know how to make cum back then?
It's like, how do they inject the CO2 inside of a freaking thing? I wonder how they first... Okay, I assume... I don't know when they...
When, like, sparkling and bubbling and stuff was invented?
Yeah.
Carbonation?
Carbonation. I was curious to when that started. Or how that works in the first place, because I don't actually know.
I would say it's probably a 90s thing. I feel like, well, maybe an 80s thing potentially, but I feel like if it was... I think when it first came out, it was probably for, like, restaurants and businesses and things like that, and then they made it, more open to the public. I think that's how it is. I don't really know. I'm just bullshitting right now.
Whenever Coca-Cola was made, is that when they added?
I guess technically. Oh yeah.
I don't know when that was.
Yeah, Coca-Cola's been a thing.
Coca-Cola's
been a thing for a very long time.
Okay.
Anyways. You've sure got skill when it comes to sucking up to the Archneans, friend. You saved my hide today, no doubt about it. Still feels like a bucket of slop right onto the face, though. It could have been far worse, you tell him. Better a moment of shame than a fight with a mighty Archnean in the middle of a party. Assaulting an Archnean is the easiest way to meet true death. Tomas says nothing to this and downs a third glass of wine. Out of the corner of your eye, you catch the mysterious masked Arcnean lady, all beauty and grace, dancing with Auton. You could have been in his place, had you so chosen. It's okay. It's alright. I think we survived the party.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't, attract attention to ourselves too much.
So that the Arcnean, I think that would cause more problems if we did dance with her.
100%. I think it totally would. He would probably come up and then, get in all our face being like, hey, that's my Arcnean lady or something like that. Yeah, and yes, we're 18. We can finally,
download porn?
Well, that, yes. However, can you...
Legally.
Can you legally buy M-rated games at 18, or is it 19?
I think it was 18. At least here in Canada it was 18.
Yeah, it was 18 here. I always forget if it was 18 or 19. Yeah.
I just remember just turning 18 and I could buy Grand Theft Auto and all that stuff.
Oh, nice, dude. I remember buying Fallout 3 when I was 12. Because I bribed the EB Games guy for $1. Yep, true story. That's why I love that game. You have lived another year in the capital. Eterna has been shaken by what is now known as the Trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. They are accused of treason and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favor of reducing the power of the nobles and granting more rights to the common estate. There was no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Shut up, man. I'm playing. Anyways, every session of the trial is open to the public. It is a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again.
No more crop circles?
No more crop circles. Aliens, don't exist anymore. Nah, it's just, aliens went extinct in the year 1136. Everyone knows this, Brent. Jeez. Come on. You attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict. Forced labor in the mines of Magra and Illyria for regular members, and true death for their leaders, 6 men and 1 woman. Their public execution takes place in the central square of Eterna. You remember the woman. Her name was Annie Serin. She made a speech before her execution. A young woman not too tall, her face almost plain, with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm even at this moment. You cannot believe she is about to leave this world forever. Annie Seren takes a look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet, but you are close enough to hear every single word. She says she is happy to give her lives fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die, Annie claims. Others like her will continue their work in hiding, for their cause is right and just.
Will she be okay? Do you think she'll be okay?
I don't.
Do you think Annie will be okay?
I don't. I'm not Michael Jackson. God damn it, Brent. I mean, I might have done a Michael Jackson voice like 2 episodes ago, but I'm not. Okay. She is dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks on the lever, and the 7 dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontent in the crowd. Cool. We watched...
Power -1.
Yeah, because it took a lot of power to, watch that execution, I guess. I don't know. Ooh, Sir El Croix's lesson. Ooh la la.
Almost Le Croix.
Oh god. Oh jeez. Are we? Is this the guy who invented LaCroix? Oh, dude, Sir LaCroix.
It is his Spanish friend, El Croix.
Jesus, his Spanish friend. It's like the Spanish knockoff version of LaCroix. Jesus, that's hilarious. And he's blaming the other guy, LaCroix or LaCroix.
That's where the sparkling wine came from.
Oh my god, we're piecing it together. I love it. We're writing history right here. This is, wow. Your studies at the Imperial College may have begun with a luxurious party, but soon you settle into the routine of lesson after lesson. Along with dozens of other future judges, you spend hours listening to lectures in spacious college halls with high ceilings. You study imperial law and legislation, analyzing every technicality and interpretation. The subjects only get tougher, and the instructors grow ever more demanding as your studies continue. Yet law is not the only thing you study. There are other disciplines as well, such as rhetoric and orthography. A true judge must have a perfect command of both the spoken and the written word. Washing dark blue ink off your fingers becomes an indelible part of your daily routine. So are we becoming a judge? Is that what we're doing? Like we're or is this just one of the classes that we're taking?
I think it's a class telling you what a judge would be doing, I guess.
Oh, okay. So we're not
just learning the job, really. I think.
Yeah, but like our end goal isn't judge. Right? I mean, that'd be sick. We get paid a shit ton, but like, I'm not sure yet. I have no idea. I think this is just, actually, yeah, here we go.
Being a judgy person, it's like, oh, you get paid a shit ton just to be judgy of everybody.
Right? Girl, I don't think you should be wearing that.
All right.
Just super judgy. Yeah. Right? $1,000 for my services, please. Oh, man. If you don't pay me, I'll take you to a real judge. I mean, one of my fellow judges. Of all your classes, you find the fencing lessons particularly exciting. Every lesson covers your body with more cuts and bruises and makes your muscles ache from exertion, but your childhood dream is worth it. Then finally, there comes a short break in your studies, a handful of days for rest and recreational marijuana. Whoa, where did that come from? Jeez. Smoke weed every day. Anyways, you meet Tomas to discuss how you are going to spend this time.
It looks like you see the picture on the right. Looks like somebody is smoking, and it's all pouring down from the window and the bridge up there.
Oh my god! Yeah, right. That's what I said. Recreational marijuana. It's yeah. I mean, it's
and
really
there's the guy
bad
with the pipe in the foreground there.
Yeah. Oh
yeah, he has a pipe in his mouth, doesn't he?
Does. Yeah. He does. Yeah. That's who I thought you were talking about at first, and then I realized where you were talking to, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Everyone is on their days off.
Yep.
It's spring break.
Oh my god. What if they did that?
Winter break. I think it was winter.
What if, like, in the history of history, like, every, I don't know, spring break, like, how we would celebrate it now, like, everyone also celebrated it that way, like, hundreds of years ago? Like, could you imagine? That would be, oh my god, that would be hilarious. You're coming with me tonight! No excuses, Brante. We'll be paying a visit to our mentor, Baron Croix. We're gonna make LaCroix tonight! It's time you learned a thing or two about how we do things in the military. I change up his voice every time, I feel like, at this point. I'm like, screw it, whatever.
He's trying to find himself still.
He's still trying to find it. He hasn't really, like, he's 18 years old, and yet he's still going through puberty. It's... Your friend looks very cunning and pleased with himself when he says this. With a sigh, you change out of your college uniform and into your best clothes and follow him. Tomas rushes you to a 2-story house somewhere in a noble neighborhood in the capital. Its windows are open, and you can hear people talking over each other. The house's sitting room is filled with young people, at least 24 men, almost all of them academy cadets. In the middle of the sitting room is an armchair, and in this armchair is a gentleman wearing the uniform of an Imperial Legion officer and smoking some dank kush. His thick hair falls over his large, observant eyes. Baronel LaCroix welcomes the two of you with a slight nod and continues his speech while everyone listens respectfully. Who wants to be Mr. LaCroix? Brent, do you want to be Mr. LaCroix? Or do you want me to be Mr. LaCroix?
I'm trying to think of a voice for it, but he looks very native.
I mean...
Or Spanish. Just one of the two.
One of the two? Close. Oh my gosh. Well, I'll let you spin this character either way. You're the only one who can get away with doing either way, so...
As I was saying, young man, I firmly believe that the days when all the military glory and the empire belonged to the Archean dynasties are long gone. Human nobles have been serving the empire, at least as well as the Archean nobles, for a long time now. Still, the Archean keep acting like their origins are more important than honor and service to the crown. I don't know what this voice is, but I like it. So
I like it because it's almost like, I don't know, you know the basic voice where it's like everything's a question and we're gonna say it like this? You're doing that, but with this voice, and I love it. It's hilarious.
Take the Milicunas dynasty, for example. The Archduke of Magra, long ago, our leader, Char Milanadis Milicunas, fomented a rebellion against the True and Tempest.
Fomented?
Rule of the Tempest. I don't know. Tormented? Fomented. I don't know what a fomented is.
Is it fomented or
no,
like...
It's fomented.
Fomented.
F-O-M.
I know, but like fomented. I don't know if that's a
fermented,
word.
Tormented. I don't know what that means.
I have no idea.
I guess he started up a rebellion. I guess that's what it means.
Probably. Context clues. Haha.
Of the Tempest and the twins' faith. He sucked all the life of his own land, doomed thousands of his subjects, and yet Milicunas' dynasty still rules over Magra. Like nothing ever happened.
Then suddenly, Sir El Croix flashes a cunning grin.
I think this calls for a test of your strategic thinking, young men. But first, let me refresh your memory on the rebellion of Char Milicunas. It may seem surprising, but we have him to thank for your current status. He was the first to ennoble humans and act of unprecedented insolence. But it gave the rebellious Duke immense support in the province. He risked his own reputation and title to make himself stronger thanks to humans. And in that, he succeeded. No one has ever dared challenge the rule of the Archeans and Tempest before, but that rebellion of Magra changed everything. Humans became part of the nobility. We got a taste of power only if our Archeans could wield before. And unless I'm mistaken, most nobles in the Empire these days are human. Why, we outnumber the members of the Archean dynasties dozens of times over. So Char Milicunas had complete rule and control over the lands of Magra. He had the loyalty of his ennobled human subjects, and he had the loyalty of the mages and witches who fled to Anazat, the only place in the Empire where they could hide from the church. The Archduke of Magra had everything he needed to win, and yet 2 pivotal changes brought him down. First of all, he cast a magic spell that incinerated the entire province. It certainly stopped the Imperial legions in their tracks, but the population of Magra could no longer side with the Char Milicunas after that. Second, the clergy stark... Okay, I don't like that they show the quotation marks at the beginning of the sentence, but at the very end, it doesn't end it. Starts again. Next one.
I think that's one of those things, because I've noticed that as well, is it will put an ending one, but it's only at the end of, like, your speaking. Like, so for instance, you've got pages of dialogue here, right?
Yeah.
Before that little, like, little things that I said, oh, you were grinning. Like, the sentence before that had the ending quotation, right? And then it was mine, and then it went back to you. But it does this, I don't understand why it does that. Yeah, like, it puts one here, I guess, which makes sense. But then this one, it's like, but then they don't put one at the end. So it's like, why? It's weird. Like, for instance, like, because there's not one at the end of the second paragraph here, I'm sure your talking is going to go on to the next page as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to do the same thing.
Probably.
Second, the clergy stuck at the rebellious Duke with the power of the twins. His magic was gone, and the main advantage was no more. Many fled, but as you know, it still took the Empire an entire month of siege before the palace of Anazate was taken. After the rebellion of Magra, the Empire changed drastically, and most importantly, humans finally received their lawful right to be ennobled. And I'd like to stress that in particular, a noble not by birth, but by the virtue of their knowledge and talent. History, young men, is more than just a memory of the past. It is also a lesson for the future. I believe that part of our history proves my point. And now, a test. Tell me, if you were among the Imperial strategists during the rebellion, what would you have done? How would you have fought an enemy as powerful as Char Milicudas?
With this, Sir Croix leans back in his armchair and takes a pull from his pipe while the cadets start discussing. Some take no time to say they cannot believe Sir Croix thinks humans were first ennobled by serving a rebellious duke. Others say the prolonged palace siege might have been a mistake, and storming the palace would have been a better choice. Soon ideas start flying, some cause only laughter, while others lead to debate. They are discussing the past of Anazot, the past of your hometown. You cannot possibly stay silent right now. If you were in command of the Imperial legions back then, what would you have done? Oh, we've got choices! Based on what you know about the Rebellion of Magra, you see 3 potential strategies. The first involves calling upon the twins' miracles to rob Milicunas of magic and render him powerless. The second entails putting your faith in the discipline and valor of the army for a frontal assault. The third means drawing... Oh yeah, man. The third means drawing out the siege while making the enemy's life as hard as possible through cunning. Which of these 3 strategies would you have chosen? Oh boy, Brent. Do we rely on the will of the twins? Our valor goes up by 1, or our theology goes up by 1. You would have placed your faith in the powers of the twins. I don't want to go that way.
No,
I don't really think that's good.
I agree.
We can rely or press for a decisive assault. Relying on the strength and valor of the Imperial legions would have been the best choice. Our valor goes up by 1 and eloquence goes up by 1. Or we lay siege to the palace. You would have starved the city into submission and seized it by cunning. Is that really cunning, or is that just being an asshole? Like, alright, we're cutting off their trade routes. They're never getting food again. We're just gonna wait till they all die off. Like, I understand it, but like, I don't know, man. I don't know. What would you do?
Doing that one would be the least harmful to the people.
That's true, and it would be the most beneficial for us. Because scheming is at plus, or is at 8.
It depends on how far he's willing to go, though. Because it could be the most harmful, potentially. But as long as you're willing to, like, freaking come up with a diplomatic way of ending it in the end. It's just like talking about it, and then they say, we will let trade routes continue if whatever they do this or whatever.
Yeah.
But doing a decisive assault would be effective as well if you're going straight for the certain people. But again, laying siege to someone, a lot of the resources will end up going towards the people protecting. So the first people to starve would be the people.
Yeah.
And not the actual army. So, on that note, having scheming going up to 9 sounds all right.
That's the thing, right? Like, I've been looking, because that's the thing, like, okay, Brent, do you know the Rebellion of Magra? Like, I know we've talked about it, and it's been a whole thing this entire time. I don't really know what it is still. I listen to the words, but it's hard for me to piece them together. I'd have to, like, read it again and then actually, like, get it into my mind, I guess, to make it. I don't know. I like this option just because, yeah, our valor goes up no matter what choice we do. But I think out of all of them, scheming is probably better because I think a lot of the, like the what do you call them? Like the criteria, the requirements are like 10 plus. right? Because you remember at the very beginning of this chapter, it was like, oh, these are your skills from 0 to 9. And if it's anywhere in between 0 and 9, it's like, oh, you're terrible at this.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas getting to 10 to like 12 or 13 is like, okay, you're getting better. And I feel like with these ones, we're kind of going to be wasting points because like theology, we already don't want to do. Eloquence is okay, but I mean, it's still like, it's at 5, and I don't think we're going to get enough points to be able to get it past, like, 10, where we'll probably need it. That's why I would say let's do lay siege to the palace. For the most part, I would say that.
I'd say either decisive assault or lay siege, because that fits the personality.
Yeah, I definitely think rely on the will of the twins is thrown out there 100%. Like that, we're not doing that. Yeah. For an actual, like, not just based on consequences of the stats and everything, I probably would still do lay siege to the palace a little bit. I mean, because I feel like decisive assault is like, you go in there and you kill, like, whoever, right? But I mean, like, I don't know if you've seen Game of Thrones, but things don't always they don't always go in for just that kill.
Yeah, it
depends who's. There's a lot of people that
like. There's a lot of chance for backfiring in the decisive assault.
Yeah, and it could be just end up like being an all-out war in the city or something. Whereas this one, at least it's like, okay, we're gonna starve you until you do what we want, and then you would think at some point they would be like, okay, like whatever, do what you can. We just want food. Which, I mean,
it's like. Doing, like, starving out the city, I assume that, like, that's a great thing, but they tend to go one step further in how they do it in this game.
True.
So, they're going to starve out the city, and then they're probably going to, like, all right, let's murder all the weak ones. And it's like, okay. It's like, why I didn't pick that choice.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I feel like at that point,
I agreed to part of this, not the rest of this. So, I'm assuming it's going to get worse. And especially for a decisive assault, it's the same thing. It's like, all right, we're going to send in the Imperial Legions, and then they're going to, like, destroy the thing, but then they're going to all get murdered, too. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just feels like there's a lot of negative... Yeah.
Either they'll get murdered, or, like, you know, they'll just go and start killing people. Right?
Just killing everyone right up to it, and it doesn't matter who it is.
So... My vote is still lay siege to the palace. I think beneficially to our story, or to our character, I think it still makes sense. But I also think that the personality points, I want to get that.
I feel like this would be the least likely to have, like, consequence of casualties. Yeah. Rather than, like, unnecessary casualties. I think this is the most likely situation. Yeah. If they're going to do it the way I think they are.
If I wonder, and this might be what you're thinking, I wonder if this whole thing, like, I don't know why this decision specifically would do it, but if there's going to be, like, in the wartime, a similar, like, decision that you might have to make. Is that what you're kind of thinking?
These are, like, just setting you up to have decisions later that actually have these situations. Yeah. I believe that they're just setting you up for something later.
Yeah, because the whole, like, we're on chapter 3, and we're 18 years old, and it looks like we go up until we're 20 years old, or something like that. I don't know if we do our 20th year in chapter 3, or if chapter 4 is the beginning of our 20th year. But I think, this is kind of setting us up for, like, hey, guess what? You're in wartime now, and you're going to have to actually think of all these, like, decisions that you made back then, and now you have to think, hey, do you actually want to starve out a city, or do you want to go in and try and murder only 1 or 2 people, and hopefully nobody else gets murdered?
Yeah. I guess whatever one we pick will tell us the answer, and it'll inform us on what we should be doing when we actually get to that situation.
I agree 100%. But hey, you know what, Brent? Let's make that choice next time on, I don't know, the next episode of this game. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Dope. Well, thanks for watching, guys. If you like this episode, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, do the things you do for everyone else, but do it for us. Come on, get us to 50 subscribers. Do it. We need 4 more. Do it. Do it. Just click it. Click the button down there, big red one. Just be like, wow, those guys are so cool. Let's subscribe to them. Do it. Peer pressure.
Yes.